Doctor Strange, Matthew McConaughey, and the NSA are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is November 4th, 2021. It is the 308th day of the year. There's 57 days left in 2021. Today is the 44th Thursday in 2021, and it's the 44th day of fall. We got 47 days left until winter. And just to give you the heads up, 51 days until Christmas. This year has flown past. I think because 2020 just sucked so bad and it just took forever to get over, I think this one's kind of flown by. Today is National Chicken Lady Day. Now, this one is something totally different than I thought it was going to be. There was a character on the comedy sketch show called Kids in the Hall that was Chicken Lady. She was half chicken and she was half lady. Her best friend was the bearded lady from the circus. Okay, great skit, a little bizarre, but yes, great. This is something totally different. National Chicken Lady Day is on November 4th, and it honors Dr. Marthenia or Tina Dupree. For 12 years, Dr. Dupree worked for the second largest chicken restaurant in the world as Director of Community Relations and Training. What she's mostly known for is her work in the community. For more than 2 decades, Dr. Dupree helped teach, train, and certify hundreds of professional speakers, authors, and trainers. In 2001, National Chicken Lady Day was created as a way to say thank you to Dr. Dupree. A lot of very successful people kind of attribute some of their success to this woman and her views on how to, create and nurture relationships. So the reason I brought her up, I found her story very interesting. I read something about her years ago, and then I happened to see today that it's National Chicken Lady Day. And the reason I originally started reading about her, because I saw a thing that said the Chicken Lady, and I thought they were talking about the Kids in the Hall skit. But yeah, very impressive lady. All right, let's see what else November 4th has given us. 1922, in Egypt, British archaeologist Howard Carter and his men find the entrance to Tutankhamun's tomb in the Valley of Kings. 1924, Nellie Ross of Wyoming becomes the first female elected as governor in the United States. That one kind of blows me away. Wyoming, of all places, you think cowboys and back in the day, 1924, they just don't seem like a very progressive state if you think about it, but they actually kind of were. 1952, the United States government establishes the National Security Agency, or NSA. The NSA is a national-level intelligence agency of the United States Department of Defense, under the authority of the Director of National Intelligence, or DNI. You hear that on the news occasionally, DNI. The NSA is responsible for global monitoring, collection, and processing of information and data for foreign and domestic intelligence and counterintelligence purposes, specializing in the discipline known as signal intelligence. Okay, so that's from their website, and that's what they do. Basically, in 1952, after World War II, communications via electronic, phone, whatever, was becoming more and more of a thing. Satellites added another level onto it. Now, these days, the internet. Prior to this, all our intelligence and spy agencies kind of relied on human intelligence. That means talking to people that maybe knew something, people that turned against their country. That's how we gathered information before. And as the United States and really other countries started to realize the potential for electronic communications, they all developed organizations like the NSA. 1960, in Tanzania, Dr. Jane Goodall observes chimpanzees creating tools, the first ever observation in non-human animals. 1962, the United States concludes Operation Fishbowl. This is the final above-ground nuclear weapon testing series. 1973, the Netherlands experiences the first car-free Sunday caused by the 1973 oil crisis. Highways are used for only cyclists or roller skates. You walk on them too, I guess. But this was really interesting. For those of you that were alive back then, remember this. We had a real oil problem back in the day. Gasoline, there was lines around gas stations. They had gas rationing, and you couldn't get gas on certain days. It was like, if the last number on your license plate was a odd number, you could only get gas like on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. It was weird. I remember sitting in those lines. I had an uncle who owned a car dealership or something like that back in those days, and he used to have his car porters go to gas stations on whatever day they could to get gas. And then all the salesmen and stuff would just siphon the gas out of the cars that they got gas for and put it in their own personal cars. Kind of sleazy, but hey. Gotta do what you gotta do. 1980, Ronald Reagan is elected as the 40th president of the United States, defeating incumbent Jimmy Carter. I've said this before, maybe on this channel, maybe on my other channel. Jimmy Carter is not considered to be a very good president. He's a wonderful human being and a great man. Everybody loves that man. He's still working at 90 whatever right now. But when Ronald Reagan came in, he kind of changed the country. I just always felt Jimmy Carter's heart was in the right place. He just didn't do the politics right. 2008, Barack Obama becomes the first person of biracial or African American descent to be elected President of the United States of America. That should be our deep dive, but we kind of talked about it last year, so we got something else for that. Movies released on November 4th, 2016, we got Doctor Strange. This is a Marvel character that I really didn't care about until the movie. I grew up a big Marvel Comics fan. I mean, that's what I didn't like DC with Batman and Superman. It just, I know this sounds weird because it's a comic book and they're all fake, but DC just seemed a little too fake to me. Marvel was a little more realistic, and I didn't even like Doctor Strange. Then, when I watched the movie, I became a big fan. I have a friend that actually has Doctor Strange tattooed on his arm. Like the picture of the dude, not just Doctor Strange, the letters. One day at work, he sat down and gave me this whole history of Doctor Strange and what a deep story it is with him, and it's a good story. But they got another Doctor Strange coming out in like 2 years, so can't wait for that one. Born on November 4th, 1969, Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey is an actor that's well known for his roles in such films like Dazed and Confused, Interstellar, Magic Mike. He won the 2014 Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance in The Dallas Buyers Club, which is a very interesting story in itself. True story about AIDS, and yeah, it's a kind of sad story, but it's pretty good. Before he got famous, he appeared in a variety of television commercials and earned his degree in radio and television film from the University of Texas. His first movie was a kind of a lame movie called My Boyfriend's Back, where he played guy number 2. Not a big role, but even before that, he was on Unsolved Mysteries. I remember this episode. He played a guy named Larry Dickens who was visiting his mom in Pasadena, Texas back in 1978. He was in the backyard mowing a lawn, and some weird dude got out of his truck with his pants off and walked up to some kids that were playing in the street. So the mom yells for Larry to go out there. Larry gets in his face. They're calling the police. Police are on their way. This guy pulls a gun out and shoots Larry in front of his mom. His mom goes out to help him. This idiot shoots Larry while the mom's trying to help him. So yeah, it was a really bad thing, but that was his first real role. Side note to that whole Larry Dickens thing, just in case you want to know, the guy that shot him left before the police got there. His name was Edward Bell, and he wasn't seen for years. And then a tip from Unsolved Mysteries led them to Panama City, Panama, where they captured him. In 1993, they extradited him to the United States, and he died in prison on April 20th, 2019. He's also suspecting of killing 2 young girls in Galveston, Texas back in 1978. So back to Matthew McConaughey. He gave a graduation speech at, I believe, the University of Texas, his alma mater, and it is very, very good about how he looks at his life and stuff. If you ever get a chance, just Google that. And if you want to see the best movie he ever played a part in, it's called A Time to Kill with Samuel L. Jackson. Great movie, great movie. Anyway, he was born on November 4th, 1969. Died on November 4th, 2008. We lost Michael Crichton. He is a best-selling author. He's known for kind of making science fiction and science fun again. He authored the novel Jurassic Park, which was adapted into the film. He also did Congo, Timeline, The Andromedon Strain. He was interested in writing at a very early age and even had a travel column published on the New York Times when he was 14 years old. He went on to Harvard and got his medical degree and published his first novel in 1996 when he was only 22. He was also the creator of the television show ER from 1994-2009. Remember that? George Clooney got his big break there, along with Juliana Margulies. I really liked that show. I watched it all the time. And then it's like one time they had a kid die on the show, so it went on for like 5 years and I was watching it. I was really enjoying it. And then a kid died in some accident on the show. And I guess it got good ratings because they kept killing kids on the show like every other week. And that was enough for me. I quit watching. Too depressing. He was an extremely private man, was diagnosed with lymphoma in early 2008, but he didn't tell anyone, didn't put it out in the news or anything like that. He was undergoing chemotherapy treatment at the time of his death. His physicians and relatives had been expecting him to fully recover from this. He died at the age of 66 on this day in 2008. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, be productive, and be nice to each other.